Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. If you are new, if you're not new, welcome back to my channel. My name is Marina and today I have a book haul for you. I did not realize it's been so long since my last book haul video. The last book haul I made was around my birthday back in September. That's like 8 or 9 months ago. We have a lot to catch up on in terms of like what I've gotten since then. I have like 3 piles next to me to show you. As you guys know, I have not been reading much as of the past 6 months. 2024 has not been my best reading year, I will tell you that right now, but that has not stopped me in any way from getting books. I have been buying way too many to the point where I'm kind of on a book buying ban this summer. I'm only gonna get books if they're like of the most priority or books I've been waiting to read for a long time. I just don't feel like I need to buy any more books. Like, it's gotten to the point now that my second bookshelf that I built like back in October and November is almost filled to the brim. I just got that bookshelf. So yeah, what a book buying ban starts now, but I am going to show you guys every single book I've been buying, and yeah, I hope you enjoy it. A lot of these I bought around the time that I made my bookshelf building video, but I never touched up on why I bought them or if they're new. So yeah, keep that in mind. Some of these you may have seen before, but it's whatever. Let's start with some that we are already familiar with, books that I've already talked about. They Both Die at the End. This I got from my friend who annotated it for me. I talked about that briefly, I think, in my last video. If you really want to know how I feel, go watch my previous video. This copy of the book itself, though, is never going to leave my collection. I love that my friend annotated this for me, and I look back on it with fondness. And then here's another one I talked about in my last video. This time it's real. This is a YA book that I read a few months ago, and I had to buy it because it was just so cute that I couldn't resist. Next, You Should See Me in a Crown by Leah Johnson. I have been wanting to get this book for a while, and I saw it at the used bookstore, and I was like, oh, let me grab that real quick because it's also hardcover. I've heard that this is really cute, really queer, really YA, but not in like a kiddie type of way. Like, I don't know, every person I've heard give a review for this book says that they've always enjoyed it and that it touches on a lot of good topics for a YA novel while still being able to keep that same sense of humor, and I think that's something that I would really like to read, especially during this month being Pride Month. Next is Heavy by Key Slayman. This is a book that I read for class this past semester. I got to take a non-fiction creative writing class, and in that class all we did was read memoirs and short essays and stuff like that, and this book is so good. I can't stress how good this book is. I bought it because of how good it is. Usually I don't really like required readings for classes. I don't like being forced to read books that I'm not in the mood for, but this one, it was too excellent. Key Slayman, his pen, highly recommend it if you have not read it. As someone who's not into biographies or memoirs or anything like that, I had a really good time reading that book. Okay, another book that I read for a class, On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous by Ocean Vuong. I talked about how I feel about this book in my previous video. I got a copy because I feel like this is a book that, although I probably won't go back to read for fun, I will go back to annotate maybe. There's a lot of good prose and different types of writing styles that Ocean Vuong uses throughout this book that I find really interesting, though the book itself wasn't really my cup of tea. I feel like it's a really interesting book to analyze as a writer, because that's what I am. I don't think I've ever touched on this, but I am a writer, majored in journalism, minored in creative writing, so I just like to analyze specific types of books, and this is definitely one of them. Next book is one that my coworker recommended I read that I never got a chance to. Leave the World Behind by Rumaan Alam. I'm pretty sure this is like a COVID book or whatever. No, it's not. It's during a blackout, my bad. All my coworker told me to do was read it, and she said that she didn't have a good time reading it, and she just wanted to know my opinion about it, and I never ever got the chance to read it. But I do have it. The copy is here in my hand, so maybe one day, but I don't know. I have literally heard nothing else about it other than what my coworker said. So if you have read this, let me know how you feel, because going into it knowing that someone I know didn't like it isn't making me all that excited to read it, but it's whatever. I own it, so. Okay, next copy I have is of an arc from an author that I already have on my shelf that I haven't read yet. When Haru Was Here by Dustin Tao. This is an arc that comes out in September of this year. I have Dustin Tao's other book, I think. What's the book called? You've Reached Sam. I had to look on my shelf. It's called You've Reached Sam. That book got a lot of hype a few years ago. Everyone was crying over it, sobbing. It was like a serious deal. I have that book. I've had it for years. I have not picked it up. Another book on my shelf that needs to get read. I know. But I got this arc for his next book that comes out, and I'm pretty sure it's gonna be just as devastating if the cover says anything. The cover is beautiful, don't get me wrong, but between the cover and the title, I'm pretty sure this is gonna touch on the same topics of the other book, which I know heavily deals with grief and moving on, and I don't think I'm ready for that. So no, I have not read this arc yet. I have a few arcs in here that I have just not started. It's really hard for me to read an arc because if I'm not in the mood for it, then I'm just not gonna read it. Not because I don't want to, but because like I'm just not in the mood. So it really just depends on how I'm feeling. But I do want to get to You've Reached Sam before I get to When Haru Was Here. Next book is one that I talked about, Sorcery of Thorns. I read this last month during the month of May, and it's my first Margaret Rogerson book. Yeah, I bought this simply because I saw it in the used selection at the bookstore. I wouldn't have bought it new. I wanted to know what the hype was about Margaret Rogerson and her books, so I went into this and I liked it, and so yeah, I have no regrets buying it. I think I said this in the last video, but I would love to read more Margaret Rogerson because the way that she writes fantasy is different than other YA authors. I feel like she's not like the other girls. She did something different that rewired my brain chemistry in a way, and I kind of want to experience that again. Oh, here's another YA sci-fi fantasy, Star Daughter by Shveta Thakrar. I hope I'm pronouncing her name right. I'm sorry if I'm not. But yeah, this was also in used, so I got it. I remember when this book came out. I don't remember anyone talking about it though. Like, I remember there being a little bit of talk about it when it first came out, but then no one ever gave reviews on it. It was very strange. But I've always been interested in this book because from what I know, I'm pretty sure this book deals with like Egyptian mythology. I'm pretty sure, and that's always interested me in a way. And I think this is also the signed copy. This is signed. Guys, I don't really know what's on my shelf. This is a signed copy. Ooh, okay, that's cool. Yeah, I got it because I was already interested in the book, and the cover is stunning, and so I was like, you know what? Screw it, let's get it. And again, it was only like a few dollars. Next book is one that I read for my 24-hour marathon challenge video, A Psalm for the Wild Built, a little novella about a monk and a robot trying to figure out the ways of life, to put it briefly. And it was really cute, really liked it, and so I bought it, and I probably will be buying the others. I don't know, when it comes to novellas, I feel like you don't really need to buy them because of how short they are, but also if I enjoy books so much, like to the point where like it made me feel the way that this book feels, then I feel no regrets of buying it. Next book is another one that I mentioned in my 24-hour reading challenge, but this is a book that I didn't get to read in that video before the 24 hours were up. The Serpent and the Wings of Night. Now, this book is one that I know I have to get to during the summer because I'm pretty sure the sequel comes out soon or is already out. I don't know. I could have sworn this was a standalone, but I don't know where I'm getting my information from because I'm always wrong. I could have sworn that this was one standalone book by itself. The way that people have been hyping this book up, I have not heard it being a series until I saw in the bookstore that they were already making pre-orders for the sequel, or that the sequel's already out. I don't know, but this book has been on my shelf forever. Not forever. Some of these books have been on my shelf longer than this one, but this one has been eyeing me down since I got it. I think it's just because like whenever it comes to popular books, I get nervous to read them because this was on Book Talk's radar for a while and I was kind of scared. Not scared enough to not buy it, but scared enough to just like hold off on reading it. And I feel like this summer, I feel like I should. I don't know. I'm not put off by a book just because it's popular, but it does make me kind of scared. Next book I have is not really one that's meant to be read, in my opinion. I got it because it's a collector's edition of one of my favorite musicals, Hamilton, The Revolution. Again, used, guys. I'm so serious. I feel like whenever I go to the used bookstore, I am lucking out. I basically live there though, so like every time I go there, there's like always something new. But yeah, I got this because it has like behind the scenes of the play and like everything it took to make the play and what the play was based off of, like the Federalist Papers. It's like a kind of a coffee table book, and I don't have a coffee table, so it's just kind of been collecting dust on my shelf, and that's okay. Like, I'm not gonna be opening this up and dissecting and reading every single thing. That's not what I'm doing. I just really think that this is cool to have. I love the Hamilton play. Back during COVID, oh, I was a Hamilton stan. When it came on Disney Plus, you couldn't tell me nothing. I was in deep. I was really in deep, and I still kind of recite the words to each song if it comes on in my car shuffle playlist. Like, sorry, I don't want to be annoying, but yes, I am a Hamilton stan. So I saw it, I grabbed it, and it's mine. Next, we have another collector's edition from an author that I really love, that I want to read more from. I don't know if that's going to be this summer or just in general. I just want to really get through all of this author's books. Jane Austen, the complete novels of Jane Austen specifically. This was also used, and I got it because it's pretty and it's Jane Austen related. So yeah, I'm pretty sure this has all of her, no. It has Sense and Sensibility, Pride and Prejudice, Mansfield Park, Emma, Northanger Abbey, and Persuasion. Is that all of her novels? I don't know, but it's pretty thick, so I wouldn't be surprised if they are, like, all of her novels are in this one book. Yeah, I got this just so it could be displayed on my shelf. I'm not gonna lie. I highly doubt I'm going to read from this ever. There's no way I'd be able to pick this up and casually read it around the place. I'd probably get each book of Jane Austen separately and read it, but you guys know I'm a big fan of Pride and Prejudice, and after I read it for the first time, I told myself that I would someday go back to Jane Austen, because I think that she's a really funny, intuitive woman, or she was, past tense, RIP. And I think that she was really ahead of her time when it comes to writing like rom-com, woman-forward books, and I really want to read more of her stuff. And so anytime I see a really pretty edition of her books, I jump to get it. Like, jump, leap to hop and get it. Because are you kidding me? Look at this. Like, I'm not crazy. You can't gaslight me. This is actually so gorgeous. And then like the price was only like $10. Next is a book that I already own. It's a book I already own, but it's a different edition of the book. An edition that I want for all of the books in this particular author's collection. I Was Born for This by Alice Oseman. I want the illustrated copies of these so bad, like the covers, because if you guys don't know, Alice Oseman, author and illustrator of the Heartstopper graphic novels, also has books outside of Heartstopper. Some are related to the Heartstopper universe, some are not. I Was Born for This is not in that universe as far as I know. I've read every single Alice Oseman book, and I own all of them. I have the UK editions of the books, but she recently released the US editions, and the US editions look like this. I love Alice Oseman's illustrations of her characters. I think that they're just so cute and authentic to like the way that she writes stories. And so I saw this and I was like, I have to get it. I Was Born for This is, I think, one of my favorite Alice Oseman books. Like, it doesn't really compare to anything else she's ever written, so that's why I think a lot of people don't really talk about it all that much, but I think it's one of her best books. And so when I saw this, I was like, you're coming home with me. Next book is one that I think I got for Christmas. No, I know I got for Christmas. My mom and dad got me some books for Christmas, and this is one of them. Finding Jupiter by Kellis Rowe. One of my mutuals on TikTok, Ebony, if you're watching this, hi. Ebony loves this book, and I trust a lot of my TikTok mutuals recommendations when it comes to books, so I got this. Ebony has never like led me astray when it comes to her recommendations. Like, I seriously love her videos, so whenever she talked about this book, I was always so intrigued. She's always like putting it up there in terms of her favorites, and I don't even know what it's about, but I mentioned like way back when that I wanted it, and my mom and dad got it for me. So Finding Jupiter by Kellis Rowe. Don't know what it's about, but the cover is stunning enough to have me intrigued. Next is a special edition of my favorite book ever, I think. I don't think that's being dramatic. I think it's my favorite one of my favorite romance books. Archer's Voice by Mia Sheridan. Now, this is the annotated special edition, the annotated version from Mia Sheridan herself, the author herself. I do not own a physical copy of Archer's Voice. I didn't before this anyway. I read it digitally for the first time like 2 or 3 years ago. Changed my life, changed the way I look at romance. It was so cute. It still is probably so cute. I just have not had the chance to reread it. But when I saw that Mia Sheridan released an annotated copy, I needed to know, I needed to get it. I needed to know her thoughts about her own writing and what it took for her to write something like this. This is seriously a really cute romance. I highly recommend it if you have not read Archer's Voice. It's so different, I feel like, than any other romances that I've read till this day. It follows a girl who moved into a small town, and this small town has put this one man, Archer, as like the outcast. He's never gets talked to, never talks to anyone, and the girl who moves to town is very put off by this. She's like, why is everyone so mean to him? And then one day when she interacts with him, she realizes that he can't talk. He's mute. So they learn to talk to each other through sign language, and she slowly helps him open up to the town and helps the town open up to him. And it's just a really heartwarming story. And of course there's like some drama here and there. Like there are a lot of secrets in the small town regarding Archer and his background and why some people treat him the way that they do. Yeah, it's really cute, really good, and I can't wait to read this copy. I have not opened this at all since I think I got it, I'm pretty sure. But it's really pretty though. Even if I don't end up ever reading it, it's really nice to just have on my bookshelf because it's such a pretty copy. Okay, we're almost done, guys. We have one more pile left. Next book is Ricochet, the next novella in the Addicted to You series. You guys know I'm on a journey to collecting all of the physical copies in the Addicted / Calloway Sister series. This is the novella sequel that comes after the first book in the Addicted series. I bought this a few months ago. Honestly, I think my goal is to own all of them by the end of the summer, and I don't really know if that goal is going to be met, but I'm going to buy them one by one at my own pace. I would buy them in bulk, but that's, for one, very expensive, and two, I just feel like I'm in no rush to own these. I just really want to so I can reread them, but again, I'm in no real rush to reread them. So like, but yeah, this is the novella that comes after the first one, and it's really short, sweet-ish. I don't know, this novella is kind of angsty, I'm not gonna lie, but I remember really having a good time reading this the first time, so I can't wait to crack it back open and just like dive into this world again. Like each book I get for the Calloway Sister / Addicted series, I get so excited. Like I get more excited to just like jump right in. The next books I have are the duology. I think it's a duology. I don't know if it's a series. Someone please tell me. I don't feel like looking it up. The Mendel Hawkes books. As you guys know, I read Sunny Disposition for my 24-hour marathon and I really enjoyed it. And then I also have Team Players. I don't know when I'm going to get to Team Players, but because of how much I like Sunny Disposition, I feel like it'll definitely be soon, because I'm pretty sure this is going to follow two characters that I was very intrigued by in the first book, I think. I hope. I remember in that haul vlog that I made for my birthday 8 months ago, I mentioned that I ordered books that couldn't be in that video. I think these were the books that I ordered that didn't come in time for me to make that video. I'm pretty sure. Okay, and then the next book I also got from my parents on Christmas. Iris Kelly Doesn't Date by Ashley Herring Blake. I got this book, I think, from my dad or my mom. I don't remember which parent, but both of them got me books this Christmas, and I'm gonna take off the sticker because that's annoying. This is the third book in the Delilah Green Doesn't Care series. This one follows Iris Kelly, who is in their little friend group, and I can't wait to read this. I really love the first two books in that series, and I think this is the last one. I'm pretty sure. And Iris Kelly has always been a really fun, happy-go-lucky character in the series up until like I think the end of the second book, and I really want to know what's going on with her. Next books are ones that I bought recently, like within the last month, that I have not even put on my bookshelf yet because I don't even know if they're gonna fit. So this pile has been here for a minute. Let me tell you right now. First book is The City We Became by N.K. Jemisin. I bought this because I really want to read an N.K. Jemisin book. I know that she has that other fantasy series that's really popular that I don't remember the name of. I wanted to start off with something like this, just because I like the cover. Am I judging based off of the cover of a book? Yes. Do I care? No. I know nothing about N.K. Jemisin. I just know that a lot of people really love the way that she writes. And it also helps that I think she's a Black author as well. So like, enough said. You don't need to tell me anything else. Next book is an arc that comes out in August, Libertad by Bessie Flores Zaldivar. I'm pretty sure this also follows a queer story about a teen activist. I'm pretty sure. And that's all I know. I'm pretty sure my coworker was one who gave me this arc. I didn't get this from a publisher or anything, and I kind of forgot I had it. I'm not gonna lie. My coworker was like, oh, I think that you'd really like this, because she sometimes gets to arcs before I do. And I was like, oh, okay, sure. But like I said, I don't really know much about it. It's pretty thick for a YA book. But yeah, I'm open to it. Now the next book I bought is Used, and it's from an author that's already on my shelf that I have not read. Dear Ijawele, or Feminist Manifesto and 15 Suggestions by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. Yeah, I got it. I got this, even though I have another book by this same author that I have not read. I think, what's it called? Something with the suns? Something suns? I don't remember. But I got this because I was like, oh, this might be cute. Like, I don't know. Like, I know that Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie's whole thing is like being a feminist and standing up for women's rights. My introduction to this woman was her feature in a Beyonce song, and that's all I really needed to know. I'm being so serious. So like, I trust her. What's not to like? What's not to trust, you know? But yeah, it's really short, really simple. I think I might read this like as a one-off one day. If I'm trying to look smart out in public, I'll pull this tiny little book out. Next book is actually a poetry book from an author that's very popular in the poetry community, but I don't know nothing about that. So I only got this because it's annotated. Whiskey Words and a Shovel by R.H. Sen. I think this is the second volume. I got this, like I said, because it's annotated. I really hope when I go through used books that they are annotated by previous owners, because I think it's so fascinating reading other people's thoughts, especially when it comes to poetry, because poetry can hit people in different ways and affect people in different ways. And the way that this person annotated it is very interesting to me. Whoever owned this before, I think that your annotations are cool, so I bought it. Teehee. Okay, next copy of a book that I have is one that's pretty popular in YA, but yet not enough where I've heard too much about it. Everyone just says that this series is really good, so I ended up getting it. Truth Witch by Susan Dennard. I don't know anything about this. I just was like, you know what, if I'm ever in the mood for, I think this is YA sci-fi fantasy. If I'm ever in the mood for YA sci-fi fantasy, I think I'd pick this one up. And everyone says that this book has a really good romance subplot that's similar to Katara and Zuko's, and I was just like, oh, okay, well, now you have my attention. Before any Atla people come for me, I'm not one for like ships in the Atla world. I genuinely do not care, but I don't think I've ever read a book with like that type of like ship dynamic before, and I'm like curious. I think, like, I know that that trope definitely exists. I don't know how to really feel about it, because that's how this book was pitched to me originally, and I'm down. I'm not up, I am down. Next book is one that I can't believe I actually own. It's been years in the making, guys. This book I've been talking about for years, I finally have in the clutches of my hands. A Tempest of Tea by Hafsa Faisal. It's here. It's in my presence. You guys probably don't get it. If you don't know, then you don't know. But if you've been here, if you haven't even, not even here, in my original channel, oh my god, it's been years of me waiting for this book to come out. Literal years. Like, I think 3-4 years of the anticipation, the wait, and I finally own it. I finally own it, guys. It's in my clutches. A Tempest of Tea has been on my radar for what feels like way too freaking long. I have not had the chance to read it yet, simply because I'm not in the mood for YA sci-fi fantasy yet. I'm not. I wish I was. I wish I was. But I want to be in the mood to read this so that I can give it my full attention and like full, wholehearted, honest opinion. Because if I'm not in the mood to read something, and if I force myself to read that thing, I usually tend to give it lower reviews. So I don't want to like push anything. I want this book to come naturally to me. We're so close to being done. We only have a few books left, guys, I swear. Next book I have is Pride and Prejudice and Zombies by Jane Austen and Seth Graham Smith. I have not seen the movie of Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, and I have not read the book. However, I feel like if I were to go in order, I would like to read the book before watching the movie. Though everyone says that the movie is fan-flippantastic, like a really good retelling of Pride and Prejudice, I feel like I'm down to read the book. This cover, it's kind of giving me everything that I need. I saw this cover in the used section and I was like, oh, and I got it. It's really that simple. Like, are you kidding me? It's giving like Penguin Classics, but zombie. Can never go wrong, you know? And like you guys know, I am a fan of Jane Austen, so any kind of like Jane Austen retelling, I'm very open to. Some do it right, some don't, but literally all I hear about Pride and Prejudice and Zombies is praise from everyone who I know, because apparently everyone has seen the movie except for me, though I don't think anyone I know has read the book. So I think that's why I really want to go into the book first before the movie. Okay, so next book is one that I remember there being a lot of talk of when it first came out, I think like 2 years ago. I, however, never read it. The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston. I know it's a romance book, so that's great. Specifically, like, I think a rom-com book, but I know it touches heavily on like dead people and grieving dead people, but it's also like funny. So I really want to see where it goes with that, you know? Like, I'm not in the mood for sad books right now. I'm open to books that'll make me laugh, no matter what genre you are. So I'm hoping the Dead Romantics can do that. I don't know, I've heard kind of mixed things about this book, but again, I'm not one to really turn it down. And the last book is one that I mentioned in my most anticipated reads video that I made at the end of last year, and the fact that I actually own a copy of this is so funny to me, because I didn't think I'd actually go out of my way to buy this. I thought I'd read an ebook version, but I saw it in used, and I think used books are my downfall, because I'm just like, oh, it's in used, might as well get it, even though I really did not need to own this book. Bride by Ali Hazelwood. Now, I think I mentioned in my anticipated books video that I genuinely have mixed feelings about Ali Hazelwood. I know some people, like, you either really love her or you hate her. I literally feel like kind of indifference. I read The Love Hypothesis and I thought it was mid, but I also read it in one sitting on Halloween, so like the vibes were really off, and I've heard that every book after that is kind of the same like archetype of characters, so I'm just like, what's the point of reading it then? However, when I heard that she was releasing a fantasy book, like a romantasy type of book, I was intrigued. I don't know, like I feel like this might hit different for me, because I think that the way that she writes romance is cute and funny. I just really did not feel like reading the same story over and over again, and that's like the main complaint I've heard with her books, is that you're kind of gonna get the same type of like things. This, however, I've been hearing is her best book. Don't shoot me, that's what I've been hearing, okay? I don't know if that's true or not, but everyone who has been reading this book has said that it's actually really good. I don't know, I'm not gonna say I have faith in Ali Hazelwood. I'm literally going based off of my vibe and my vibe alone. Like, when I heard that this was coming out and it was like, I think vampires and werewolves, I'm pretty sure, I was like, oh, say less. Say less. We're so back. We're so back. I love a good vampire book. If you couldn't tell by my excitement of A Tempest of Tea or Bride, I love a good vampire book, or specifically like a vampire werewolf type book, type beat. Yeah, I don't know how many books I just went through, but those are all of them. Looking at them, I was expecting a lot worse. Like, yes, it's a lot, don't get me wrong, like I've been talking here for 40 minutes. It's a lot of books, but I don't know, I don't know. I thought it was going to be a lot worse. I feel like I've been spending money on books nonstop for the past like 6-7 months, and I think I'm finally at a point where I realize I don't need to anymore, at least not for the summer. I genuinely, I have a goal of hitting up books in my TBR that are on my physical TBR this summer, and I'm not even joking with that. Unless it's on my Kindle, I'm not going to be reading like anything new. I'm going to get to books on my shelf. I really want to. Yeah, if you want to follow my journey this summer of trying to get through all of these books along with other books on my shelf that I have not read, that I've had forever, you should subscribe, you should like, you should comment what you think I should read first, what I should get to first. because I am currently in the middle of like 2 books at the moment, but there should be reading vlogs coming soon of me trying to get through my shelves, plural. And so yeah, if there's something specific that you guys want me to read, let me know. If you like to follow me on my social media, here it is. I mostly interact on Twitter, my main Twitter. My book Twitter has been a little bit dry, I'm not gonna lie, for like the past few months. If you want to follow me on my main Twitter, you can. My book Twitter is also available, but then I've also been active on TikTok recently, so you can follow me on there. Follow me on any of the apps in the description below. Because I've been interacting on social media a lot more now that I'm out of school. So go stupid, go crazy, within reason. And yeah, I'm pretty sure that's it. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye everyone!